Hello everyone, Ryan here. Brat, an 80s story by Andrew McCarthy. I recently listened to the audiobook version of this and it was alright. I mean, I gotta admit, I've never considered myself a fan of Andrew McCarthy. I mean, most of his movies, well, I believe pretty much the bulk of his movies came out in the 80s. Hence the title of his audiobook. So, but I will say I am a fan of course, Weekend at Bernie's, which he's in. Of course, he doesn't play Bernie, but one of the guys that kind of, sort of knows Bernie. If you haven't seen Weekend at Bernie's, I mean, I don't want to give it away, but I mean, it's an easy enough movie to look up and check out. So, and aside from that movie, of course, he was in another movie titled Mannequin, which also too it also starred Kim Cattrall. She played the mannequin, like the mannequin would come to life. And I don't remember like all the exact details, but like some kind of curse was placed on this mannequin, or possibly actual person. I don't know. Again, I don't remember, but I remember seeing it when I was a little kid. I mean, those are the two movies I remember seeing during the late 80s. Weekend at Bernie's and then also Mannequin. So, I guess, I'm kind of familiar with Andrew McCarthy's work. But, so yeah, in the audiobook, of course, it is also narrated by Andrew McCarthy himself. And it's, I mean, pretty much what I expected, like a typical autobiography. And he talks about how he got started as an actor and his very early days in New York City and going to NYU, going to classes, but not really enjoying going to classes, or at least, not as much as I guess he felt he should have. And then, just like going on a bunch of auditions and eventually landing certain roles that ended up turning into a full-fledged career for him. One interesting thing, well, one thing I thought was interesting was he talked about how there was, during that time in the 80s when there was this group called, that they were dubbed the Brat Pack, and I'm not exactly sure if that's because, well, I guess because it was like the same group of actors that I guess seemed to be like they kept I don't know if it was coincidence or not, but they same group of actors, and of course Andrew McCarthy was one of them. Emilio Estevez was one. Judd Nelson was one. I think Molly Ringwald, John Cryer, and I don't know how many others. But I mean, not like a large group, but a small group of actors, and they were all in those teenage movies, and some of them were comical, some of them were not so comical, and I guess others were a little more on the dramatic side, and of course, I mean, it was the 80s, and none of them really did anything. They didn't star in anything like intense, or so I mean, I don't think so. Even though, I mean, okay, my knowledge of the 80s is limited because, I mean, I was born in 1983, And so, yeah, I mean, I kind of have a fond memory of stuff that happened in the late 80s, so, but I think I might have mentioned that. But anyways, I digress. And so, yeah, the Brat Pack. And supposedly, I don't know, it was some journalist or reporter or someone like that who dubbed this group of actors the Brat Pack. And there was even like some magazine which featured the story. It was a story about this Brat Pack, this group of actors, and Andrew McCarthy was one of them, considered to be one of them. He was considered to be a part of this group, but supposedly the other actors didn't consider Andrew McCarthy to actually be a part of the Brat Pack. And which, of course, Andrew McCarthy, he mentions it in this audiobook, and he himself even says that he was kind of confused, and because I guess there's like a version of the photo that he took a photo of him and the other actors, again, like I said, Emilio Estevez, Judd Nelson, and they're sitting at a table, but there's a version of it in which Andrew McCarthy is like cut off, and I think that was the one that ended up being the more well-known version of that particular photo. And Andrew McCarthy, he mentions that he was kind of surprised by it, and then also too later on, supposedly, I don't know, according to him, that Emilio Estevez or someone else from this Brat Pack was quoted as saying in some interview that they didn't consider Andrew McCarthy to be part of the Brat Pack, and for what I don't know, I guess an exact reason wasn't given other than that, and other than just the fact that I guess they just didn't consider him part of the group, part of the Brat Pack, and then supposedly Andrew McCarthy also said something about that he had heard that Emilio Estevez didn't like Andrew McCarthy's acting style or something along those lines, and so yeah. But I mean, of course, Andrew McCarthy makes sure to mention that it's really like, I guess, one of the few things that he still thinks about to this day. But of course, ultimately, he didn't let it. He's never let it hinder his acting career, I guess, for the most part. And then of course he goes on to talk about his struggles with alcohol and drugs, and mostly alcohol, and then the fact that like his father was pretty much like never really a big part of his life until he became a pretty well-known actor, or at least until he became a working actor, and his father was constantly borrowing money from him, and which I guess Andrew McCarthy he does mention that he really didn't mind giving money to his father. I guess it was just more like he didn't like the fact that his father never really seemed to want to hang around for too long and hang out with him for too long, So, I mean, I can imagine that, how can that not bother anyone, really, if you've got a parent like that? And I mean, I feel lucky that I don't have a parent like that, but yeah, if I did, I can imagine it would definitely bug the hell out of me. But so yeah, and then other than that, he talks about different things he experienced on different auditions, and Also different things he experienced during the filming of certain movies, and how he felt. Pretty much, different things that he felt while working on these different movies, and then pretty much all in all, just like ended up kind of like summed it all up by stating that he feels comfortable with the fact that he's never been considered this huge breakout movie star, and because he still managed to have pretty long decent acting career. So, and yeah, so far, like, he's pretty much content with that. And so, I mean, I figure, hey, that's all. I figure, at least for me, I figure that, that's all. I mean, I happen to believe that that's all anyone can really ask for, and during any lifetime, or I don't know what it's, reincarnation. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I figure, hey, that's all any of us can really hope for, right? Is contentment, and because even though, yeah, we all want eternal happiness, but I mean, come on. Big part of the human condition is that we're constantly grasping things that really don't offer eternal happiness, or even happiness in general. But at best, all any of us can hope for is contentment, and and just doing stuff that keeps us busy and pursuing our passions. So. And I feel that, yeah, Andrew McCarthy sums that up very nicely. So overall, I would give this definitely 4 out of 5 stars, 4 out of 5. Yeah. Like I said, I've never considered myself a big fan of his, but if I were, or maybe like if I had been born a little early, excuse me, if I had been born a little earlier, like say if I was a teenager if I was a teenager during the 80s, I probably would have been a little more, I don't know, appreciative of his acting chops, or I don't know how else to put it. But overall, again, I give it 4 out of 5 stars. That'll do it for this review. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. As always, next time, don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.